Hey everyone, Dan here. We are just before market close on Monday, July 26th. We're going to take our daily look at SoFi. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps a lot. And also keep in mind that these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are not intended to be, nor should you construe them as, trading or investment advice in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence, put the work in, and make your own decisions based on your own information. All right, so here's the SoFi chart. It's still holding up quite well, in my opinion, from this most recent move up. We see the retracement levels in the yellow, extension or potential extension levels in the whites, though we have at this point fallen through the retracement area that I had charted this down to. So I'm going to say that we can pop off these extension levels for now. Still paying attention to the retracement. Obviously, we're still continuing to pull back here into this $15 level. Now we do have this level at $15.10 if we need it, and then we do have this $14.65 support and this potential purple bounce zone, which gave us that lift last week. And the extent to which that can be preserved would obviously be helpful. There may be some selling pressure coming in. We'll have to see. I'm kind of playing it day by day. I did a begrudgingly a lockup video that I put out in the midday today, basically breaking down some additional info that's been provided apparently from SoFi Investor Relations, as well as some additional news items, and kind of showing the areas in which those things diverge and definitely have aided in the confusion of the public and the retail investor. It appears to me at this point that there's two periods to be focused on. One was the end of June target that allowed for a certain fraction or a certain percentage of SoFi insiders to unlock their shares, and that would then be the boost in volume that we saw right around those days. Now it appears to me, and again you can go watch that video to try to see how I came to this conclusion and see if you agree or not and come to your own decision, but it appears to me as though today suffices the 20th trading day within a 30 trading day block after the 30 calendar days from the initial business combination that occurred on May 28th to June 1st. That, to me, would say if those counts are correct and if that analysis is correct of the timing, that folks would then be unlocked for 83% of their shares tomorrow. I think today would suffice for the 20th trading day. So as long as we're closing above 15 today, I think tomorrow we see the possibility for 83% of those shares to become unlocked, and that includes folks who have larger positions, which I guess they're saying is that 5% plus that we've seen referenced in the documents, and then also certain directors and officers coming unlocked as well. So we'll have to go see, but in that video I break down kind of the evidence and also break down who it seems is owning the stocks for the most part. I sort of break down the percentages of the PIPE investors and the insiders and sponsors and what they cumulatively seem to own based on the documents. But have a look at that if you want. Otherwise, I'm hoping that whatever happens this week happens and we can kind of move on from all of the lockup drama. As I've said in the past, I will be putting out some videos on how the regulators or document creators could go a long way to improving the clarity or diminishing the opacity of the documents that they provide to the trading public, if it is in their realm or in their purview to want to help retail traders make better decisions by providing clear, actionable information. Anyway, here, like I said, here's our retracement levels, and I'm still looking at these as they continue to hold, and talked about the dip zone and the supply zone down here at 1465. I guess I should say that's more of a demand zone, 1465, to see if those hold, especially if we do get selling pressure coming in tomorrow and or later on this week. Now, I want to zoom out to the daily here just to get the daily perspective on the indicators. MACD finally looks as though it's losing, as of today, all of its bearish momentum. Now, whether or not that picks up is to be seen. You see here, it also looked like it was losing all of its bearish momentum, like it was dying down pretty quickly, and then it came in with a fury. So we know that it can come roaring back. That said, the MACD is about as down below the baseline as it has ever been. Yes, it looks like it's further below the baseline than it has ever been. So tons of room to run up. I know that's an obvious thing to say, but this is the best chance. So it's like a weird confluence of events here that seems to be what has always been the case with IPOE and SoFi. This is why this is interesting to me. A strange combination of events coming together and then trying to speculate on what's going to happen or how it plays out. And it's always interesting to see how reality sort of intersects with the speculation. But with the potential for unlocking of shares tomorrow or later this week, and the MACD signaling a bullish crossover, we'll see how that battle plays out, but it's definitely an interesting timing. And then the RSI still needs to make any move toward the midline, in my opinion, in order to see if there's actually going to be significant buying pressure coming in. On the volume side of things, we're seeing a pretty down volume day, comparatively speaking. We saw this big uptick, like I said, when I guess that 30th calendar day expiration occurred, and then we've seen it die down ever since. Now if we'll see a huge bump up starting tomorrow or Wednesday or Thursday, that's obviously to be seen. But I have a lot of questions around whether or not those folks who may have their shares unlocked this week are happy to sell at this price, or if they see the business value in holding on to those and waiting for a trend reversal to occur. Especially with earnings coming up pretty soon, there wouldn't be that crazy of a time frame for them to hold out to see what happens with earnings, and if they can cash in their shares at a nicer dollar value than what they see at the moment. Now zooming into the 5-day 5 minutes and taking a look at where we are, obviously we had this big push up this morning that bounced right off of that 50% retracement level and wasn't able to hold at all. Obviously then the bearish momentum picked up and dragged us down all the way here. Now we've had a few bibs and babs and blips of green on the radar screen, but certainly acting both in the price action and on the MACD itself as a consolidation zone. So kind of wondering if it's establishing itself a floor here. That's obviously my bullish hope talking, but we obviously never know, especially like I said, if there is selling pressure coming later this week. Testing again the midline of the RSIs is what we were just talking about in the daily as it sort of pertains to this shorter term time frame. We're seeing the exact same thing play out. Every time that it's able to establish over the midline, then we see a nice development and a run toward overbought, and then as it can't hold the midline, then that's when we see it sell off into or nearly to oversold. So a little bit jaggedy here in the pre-market activity, but certainly that tracks much more consistently, I guess I should say, during the market hours itself. I sort of try to take a bigger grain of salt with these indicators on the pre-markets and after hours, because there can be really crazy factors that throw them off pretty quickly, and then they just don't recover very well. But trading day, much more consistent. And on the volume side of things, like I said, today it's been coming in fairly low still, but we do see a solid mix of green volume coming in. So I'm kind of curious to see how that plays out. Now there aren't any large-scale orders jumping in, so this could be a signal that institutions are kind of holding off at the moment to see what does develop this week, if they are aware of the expiration of this additional lockup period or not. But that's obviously to be seen as the week plays out. On the news side of things, nothing big really happening here. Nothing that we've seen in recent days anyway that is throwing things in any direction. Ortex showing that shorts continue to relatively stay away from SoFi at the moment, just over 1% of the free float being shorted, just over a quarter of the utilization of the total utilization capacity being borrowed. So yeah, that will do it for this one. I am traveling back home tomorrow, so we'll be back to our regular routine. It's been a little bit challenging to get through these last few days, but I appreciate you sticking with me, and I think that the videos will improve as the week goes on this week and I get settled back into my normal routine. I'm not quite so thrown off day to day. All right, well, I hope your trading week got off to a good start, and as always, I appreciate you watching. I will see you in the next video.